Hey guys, welcome to My Sew Bliss. Today I'm going to show you how to do a full bust adjustment. Now the only things that you're going to need are first the pattern piece that you want to do the adjustment on. We just do it on the pattern piece and then you can trace your fabric out. So here I have my pattern piece. I actually traced my original pattern and cut out my size, and then I can do all the work on there so then I still have the original pattern if I need it later on down the road. The other supplies that you're going to need are scissors, a pencil or pen. I like to use a pencil in case I mess up, a straight ruler, and some extra paper to fill in, and some clear tape or a glue stick. So let's get started. Now, after I traced out my pattern, I then traced where my seam allowance is going to be for this next step. Take our pattern piece and then lay it on yourself exactly how it would sit. So here I have it. I'm going to raise the shoulder up to where my shoulder sits. You can also look at the shirt you're wearing and even line that up. So like the seam, I can line up with the seam of my shirt and then make sure this is on center front and just kind of place it nicely and make sure, whoops, that is how it's going to sit on you. Then we're going to take our pencil and I'm going to find the widest part of my bust. So I'll find that point and mark it with a dot. And then I can take it down to my table. Now, if the pattern you are using already has a dart, it might already have the apex marked for you. So you might not have to do that step. But you might want to check and make sure that the apex is in line with where your apex is, because that is going to determine how the bust dart looks for you. So because mine doesn't have a dart, I had to hold it up there and find my apex. Now I can go down to my pattern and we're going to draw a couple lines. So I'm actually going to take a Sharpie and just mark this so that you guys can see it a lot better. So there's the apex, and then I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a line straight down to the bottom of my pattern. I'm going to line my ruler up with the bottom of my pattern and with the apex, and once it's straight, I will just draw a straight line all the way down to the bottom. Then I'm going to take the ruler again and I'm going to come over and we're going to draw a line to this arm side. That's where the armhole is. And we're going to draw it about a third of the way up. So if I kind of take it into chunks, you might want to measure it or eyeball it. I like to just eyeball it. I'm going to place my ruler on my apex again and where the third mark would be. So I'm going to go a little bit higher. And I'm going to draw a line from the apex up to the arm side at a third. So there I have my second line drawn. Then I'm going to go over to my side. Now this is where if you have a side dart, it's going to be done a little bit differently, and you're actually just going to be drawing a line through the middle of the dart from the apex through the dart to the side. But if you don't have a dart, this is going to be a little bit different. So I have the bottom line drawn, the line drawn to the arm side. Now I'm going to draw the line to the side. Now, if you don't have a dart, you're actually just going to eyeball it and draw a line where a dart would be. So typically a dart angles down just slightly and comes to the apex. So I will take my straight ruler and just do a slight angle. I'm just drawing a straight line from the apex to my side. Once you have all three lines drawn, we're then going to take our scissors and I'm going to start at the bottom of the pattern. Here I have the bottom line and I'm going to start cutting just straight up through that line. Now when I reach the apex, I'm going to take my scissors and turn and go up to the arm side. So I'm doing the arm side line, not the side seam line. When I get to the top, I'm cutting to this point, but not through the point, because I still want to leave a little bit attached so that we have a hinge. So this is still attached and it creates a hinge for me, because then we're going to go over to the side seam and I'm going to cut from this point to here, but again, not through it, just to it, creating a hinge. So once I get to the apex, I haven't cut through it and it still is connected so that it has a hinge right here. Now once your lines are cut, we're then going to take our piece and start spreading it a little bit. So for mine, I'm about a D cup, so I'm going to spread mine about 3/4 of an inch. If you're a C cup, do about 1/2 of an inch, and then if you're bigger than a D cup, you can go to an inch, 1.25 inches, things like that. So depending on what size you are, is depending on how much you want to spread it. Now, I'm going to measure that from the apex to the side right here. So here from this hinge over, I'm going to measure mine to be 3/4 of an inch, and that's how much I want to spread mine. So I'll just take my ruler and line it up so that it is at 3/4. One thing you're going to want to do is take your extra piece of tissue paper and slide it under. Mine's kind of messing with how I spread mine, so I'll have to re-spread it in a minute. But this will just fill in that gap so that we can use the pattern piece and we can tape it down. So let me measure that one more time. Again, I'm doing 3/4. You might be doing it a little differently. But I just want to make sure this gap right here measures 3/4 of an inch. And I want to make sure the rest of it is laying nice and flat. The other pieces might spread as well, and that's perfectly fine. That is exactly what they're supposed to do. While you're spreading it, you want to make sure that these lines right here stay parallel to each other. These are going to spread. That is what you want them to do. So once you have them spread the amount that you are doing, you're going to take your tape or your glue, and we're going to glue the pattern piece on to this other piece so that it's all set in place. Just realize that using glue is actually a lot harder than it is to use tape. Tape is much easier. I actually just can't find mine, or I would have been using tape this whole time, because the glue I've just had to remeasure every single time. So just keep that in mind. Tape is much easier when you're doing this. So once your pieces are taped or glued down, you can then come to the bottom, and it is going to be a little bit off, but you can just add some more pattern paper right here and finish off your hemline. And the same with up here. I'll just finish this off. Will be the new point of this bust start right here. So that's why I drew a line through the middle so that I could draw the sides out, and that is our new dart, which will be great if you need to fit any further. And now you are all done with your full bust adjustment. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe. And if you want to see more pictures, tips, or tricks, make sure to check out my Instagram at mysobliss, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!